7:31 on November 2nd, and I call to order the Trophy Club Municipal Utility District Number 1. We do have a quorum. We're missing Secretary Treasurer Rose. Okay, citizens' comments. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the board on any matter, whether or not it is posted on the agenda. The board is not permitted to take action on or discuss any presentation made to the board at this time concerning an item not listed on the agenda. The board will hear presentations on specific agenda items prior to the board addressing those items. You may speak up to 3 minutes or the time limit determined by the president or presiding officer. Anyone?
No.
Anyone? Anyone? No one. Okay, we move on. Regular session, agenda item number 1. Consider to take appropriate action regarding approval for acquisition of 2 new vehicles for the wastewater department to be purchased through the buy board contract at Caldwell Chevrolet. A, 2018 Chevrolet 1500 Silverado 4x4 regular cab, $27,515 on call vehicle. B, 2018 Chevy 1500 Silverado 4x2 crew cab, $31,825, the superintendent vehicle. We'll start with A. Staff, if you want to address them both, that's fine. These are budgeted items, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on either one?
Just a quick one.
Okay.
Through this contract, we strictly buy new vehicles.
I'm sorry?
Yes. It's a government purchasing contract.
Okay. So you cannot buy a used vehicle through it?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, personally, I don't think buying someone else's problem is a good idea anyway. Might as well get new with a warranty. I have a question on the 4x4. Is there a reason why it's a 4-wheel drive?
Yeah, the last one I bought, the last on-call truck, we had actually issues even with the chains. It's actually safer either in the ice or when we ride around the back in the mud and stuff behind the plant. It's easier with a 4-wheel drive to get in and out. And we have to pull something, it'll be a lot easier too with a 4-wheel drive.
Okay, both these have tow packages on them?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They're exactly the same trucks I've already purchased last year in 13. The exact same ones. The only difference between these two is they have the camera when you back up. That's the only thing difference.
So you can see what you hit?
Exactly. Well, then we also have our trailer that we have to start connecting to.
Is that for you, Carl, that backup camera?
Yeah, it is actually. They're for both.
Stephen, do we have these amounts budgeted, or are these amounts different from what we have budgeted?
They're budgeted.
They're budgeted.
These amounts?
These amounts, correct.
These are still budgeted, right?
They're still budgeted.
Okay, any other questions?
I'll show my ignorance. I'm not a truck guy. The 4-wheel drive is different. It's less expensive than the 4x2, but I see one is a regular cab versus a crew cab. I'm assuming the crew cab is a bigger vehicle. Okay.
Four-door and two-door.
And I generally take people to either safety with me or trading and stuff like that in my truck. That way 4 people can actually fit on mine because only 2 people can fit on the other one.
Okay.
It's
It's a
so
4-door
small.
versus a 2-door, right?
I'm sorry?
It's a 4-door versus a 2-door.
Correct.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of these 2 vehicles.
Can you mention the price so it's in the record, please?
As listed on the agenda, 2018 Silverado 1500 4x4 regular cab, not to exceed $27,515, and a 2018 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Silverado 4x2 crew cab, not to exceed $31,825.
Thank you. I have a motion by Director Thomas for A and B. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have a second?
You need a second first, Cal.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
Okay, we have a second by Vice President Wilson. Okay, any questions after that? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, it's unanimous with Secretary Treasurer Rose being absent.
You will, the other vehicles, you'll try to
I'm
put them
sorry?
up for sale? The 2 vehicles that are being replaced, they will go up for sale? You'll
Yes.
try to,
They're going to the auction.
okay.
Okay, 2, consider and take appropriate action regarding adoption of order number 2017-1102A as in alpha, authorizing general manager to execute a contract for the purchase of electricity for use by the district. Carmen, you got
This is an order that I put together in an effort to reflect the board's discussions at the last month's meeting when it received a presentation from the gentleman from Tradition Energy. And pursuant to that discussion, this order would delegate to your GM the authority to actually sign a contract to purchase and lock in the district's price of electricity for its facilities. Those rates fluctuate daily, and so this would give the GM the authority, based on the recommendation of Tradition Energy, to enter into a contract. There was a lot of discussion last month about the term of the contract. This order would delegate to him the authority to enter into a contract between 12 months and 60 months, 1 year to 5. And again, I assume he would exercise that authority in accordance with the recommendation of Tradition.
Thank you. I make a motion that we approve the order number 2017-1102A as an alpha, authorizing general manager to execute a contract for the purchase of electricity for use by the district.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a second by Director Thomas. Any questions? Any comments? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, we've got Vice President Wilson, myself, Director Thomas, and Director Hayes, and with Director Rose being absent. Okay, agenda item number 3. Consider and take appropriate action regarding approval of contract number 2017. Does that have to have a dash after it? Okay. 2017-1102-01 for professional engineering services with Half and Associates relating to design and construction of 16-inch water transmission line improvements. Staff?
In your board packet, you had the draft contract. We've worked it through with our legal counsel. I guess the one point I want to make about it is we structured it in such a way as it has milestones. So, phase 1 is simply to look at the alignments and do some preliminary utility conflict checking, put together an updated cost estimate and bring that back to the board before moving on to phase 2, the full-scale design. So hopefully that will take care of any concerns over the difference in price from their initial cost estimate to the one that we had in our February plan of 2016. So I guess that's an important comment. The other comment I have is that what I guess in my packet shows is page 23, where it's breaking out the tasks in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. There is an error on line G where it says phase 2 task. It's clearly a phase 3 task, and we'll make that correction before we sign it.
Okay, in the packet, you have an 18-inch water line and a 16-inch water line. What's the difference on those two?
If we go up Indian Creek, we're gonna phase that as some 18-inch. I mean, there's gonna be a little bit of sections, probably either which way on the alignment, that are gonna be 18-inch line, just because there are gonna be some taps coming across. If we go down the service road, there's a couple of taps that go back into Trophy Club, and then some that actually go over to Solana.
You assuming you're abandoning the old pipe?
Well, right now, we don't have one going up the service road, and I don't know what exactly the plan is. If we go up Indian Creek, that's gonna be the first part of this phasing that Half's gonna look at and bring back to us.
Well, Mike, I don't understand. What has to tap off of this line that's not already tapped off of the existing line? In other words, why can't this be a 16-inch up Indian Creek as well as a 16-inch up 114?
I don't know exactly what Half's looking at doing. I mean, the original one was going down the service road, and we were gonna connect to an existing pipe that's there and basically replace it as we're going up the service road from about where the medical plaza is. That's where it actually goes across 114. It's another feed to Solana. So we'll be replacing that all the way back to Trophy Wood.
Well, we talked about this last month, but I still don't have a clear perception from what y'all provided last month, I think that's what Kevin's asking for now, is this thing was always discussed with us as being a 16-inch pipe. So what is making it an 18-inch pipe if you go up Indian Creek?
No, I think there'll only be sections of 18.
And why?
Because there's going to be some taps off of it feeding, other things.
Feeding what? That's not already being fed today.
Well, it's being fed today. We're just going to replace the existing pipe there and bring it back into the 16-inch water line.
Okay, so
But at that point where we're tapping off of it, it'll be an 18-inch piece.
so I mean, the reason I brought it up is this motion says 16-inch line, and in
Page-
actuality, it's an 18-inch.
Page 43, if it's helpful, is an exhibit which shows the different alignments and connections, if that's helpful.
Yeah, I saw that. It mentions for him, yeah, where it taps off.
And so all of this is preliminary now. What you're gonna be voting on right now is the phasing for half to come and say, okay, well, this is gonna be the alignment, this is the size we need, this is what we wanna do.
But the motion says construction of a 16-inch water transmission line.
It's only the first phase of just the alignment, though. Isn't that correct, Carmen?
Right, and so you're correct, Kevin, that does say 16-inch, and I think there was always intended to be a few sections that were 18-inch, but not a lot.
Well, we can change I can change it and say 16, and 18-inch.
Or just construction of transmission line
Yeah,
improvements. without
that's
specifying
that's
it.
probably better.
Because, again, we're not approving the construction today, we're approving.
Right, it's just
engineering.
design and
Yep.
it says relating to design and construction, but it's for the engineering services.
Right, and the decision as to what will finally be built will be a later decision.
Right, and then, do we need to mention the prices of the phases, because you mentioned 3 phases for a total of 501,765.
So this contract, with the exception of possible condemnation of easements, is a time and materials, and so it has not to exceed prices, and they are only authorized to proceed to subsequent phases with approval of the district. So they would undertake the Phase 1 preliminary design services. A decision would be made about what will be the improvements. Then they would go forward with design.
Okay, so should we say not to exceed 36,365, because that's phase 1?
I would approve the contract as a whole, knowing that they cannot proceed with Phase 2 or 3 until they get your prior approval.
Okay, so the total, say not to exceed 501,765?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me get that.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a question, Kev?
But one more clarification. You said they're gonna do phase 1, which is the 31,365, and until we approve further action.
Go to page 15, and you'll see that clause, item
Yeah,
number 6.
Yeah, but I'm getting at the price. If we're not gonna approve it, then why would we approve the 501? That's what,
It's a not to exceed. The way the contract is written is, if we go through all of them, we would pay not to exceed that price. However, as they go through the 3 different project phases, they
we
need
can
to,
stop it.
yeah, they can't proceed to the next one till they get prior written authorization from us.
And this gives you kind of an overview of the entire engineering scope and cost if the project proceeds. If the board preferred, we could break it up into 3 contracts and only approve 1 contract initially without the assurances of the subsequent phases, but.
It's already written in here that way, though.
Right, and-
Yeah,
and-
so, I just need, my question was, which one do we say not to exceed? And I think you said 501 for the total amount. Is that correct? Okay.
And ultimately, it would be the GM that determines whether or not we go from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3. Once the board approves the contract, then it's all GM discretion, correct?
I think that the way it's written, like,
No.
we're gonna come back with the results, the deliverable from Phase 1 and present that to the board. That's gonna say, where is the alignment, right? Do we wanna go up Indian Creek? Do we wanna go out in the 114 right away? Where do we make the interconnections if we go in the 114 right away? There's still some open questions about the alignment down by, I forget the name of the road that, well, T.W. King is where the tank is, but the one that the new town hall is on,
Trophy wood.
Trophy Wood, whether we go up that or, there's some variations on the theme about those alignments.
I would anticipate that the GM would consult with the engineer, but then the findings and recommendations would be presented to the board for a final decision as to which alignment.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion on this?
I have a question.
Okay.
Carmen, if you go to page 43 or 44 of our packet, it shows the two designs as far as right-of-ways are concerned. I have no earthly idea if the town and Beck are ever going to come to conclusion on PD 30 as far as constructing, but we do have an agreement with those people that they would run the line through their property at their expense. This design is assuming that that's not going to happen.
I think that's fair. You want to address that, Mike?
I was talking to Tony, so
Oh, sorry. We're talking about PD 30 and, you know, its current status, so
I was actually contacted today by one of the engineers from PD 30, and they were just kind of reaching out to see what, you know, just kind of basically touch base with everybody that had any involvement in that. And he was clearing up our non-standard agreement, and I told him that, you know, a few months back, we extended that, so it is still viable. He asked us about our route options, and I told him we were planning on going around his subdivision at the time, but if, you know, hopefully they can get their issues all worked out, and, you know, maybe we can all come together and construct it, you know.
How long does that go to? It was 90 days or something, wasn't it?
No, it was,
it was annual, I thought.
Yeah, I think it's a
We
year.
extended for another year?
I think a year, at least another 8 months. So I told him we were looking probably about another 4 to 6 months before we start breaking ground.
I mean, they own the land. That's not going to change unless he sells it, but, I mean, he can let us run the pipes through the land, but I think he was going to do a loop system off it.
Well, they were actually gonna take it through their subdivision and put it in at their cost. The
Right.
pipe, construction, everything at their cost. So it would be a big benefit if they come online, but if they don't, well,
Well, I asked the question because it's over $100,000.
It was a 12-month extension.
it was a
So
12-month extension, so.
I just, if, Carmen, if we go forward, I just don't have to understand that that possibility is there as they're trying to execute right-of-ways. There might be that this thing doesn't jut down Trophy Club Drive, but cuts across their property if we can get permission to do it.
But I think the issue with doing that, they have to determine what they're gonna build, right? Because they could end up digging it back up if we, depending on how they build it, what they end up doing with the land. So to me, it wouldn't make sense to go across there before they figure out what they're going to build.
Well, Greg, they are going to put it in at their expense. I would hope they would not put it someplace where they would have to turn around and dig it back up.
But if they don't know what they're gonna build yet, they wouldn't have any idea.
Well, the master plan's been approved for years, and it may get tweaked, I don't know.
Well, it's been tweaked.
I mean, we're talking about something we have
Yeah.
no decision.
Yeah.
I'm really bringing up the point that that's an unknown that we need to bridge, we need to cross, because there's over $100,000 attached to it. So as we move forward, let's don't ignore that. That's my point.
I've been in talk with this developer quite a bit and let him know the situation and everything. They're eager to start building and everything, and they've worked with us very well. So, I mean, we're just waiting to see what happens with their approval.
Didn't they agree to pay $45,000?
There did
That the
45,000 from a little bit, I guess, of the engineering costs from here to PD 30, and they also have to do some off-site sewer upgrades.
It was like 178,000 in total, if I remember.
178.
It was a lot of money.
I think it
That
was
gonna
about
pay?
45 for the
Yeah,
water line
that's-
here, and I think the sewer, off-site sewer was around 98.
Okay. Still wait, on the table is a motion on this.
Did you get a second?
I don't even have a
We didn't have a
motion.
motion yet. I asked a question before you made a motion.
Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
Thank you.
that the project,
Remember, drop the 16, just keep it as transmission.
project will, running a pipe from ground storage down to the elevated tank on TW King, comes in 3 phases. Total of all 3 is a price of $501,765.00. I recommend that we approve this amount, but we do not move from phase one to phase two unless the general manager brings it back to the board.
And just for clarification, this is for contract number 2017-110201, is that correct?
Yeah.
Specifically, yeah, the professional engineering services.
Okay, we have a motion, I'll second the motion. Any more discussion?
As part of the motion, can we make a request that our general manager contact the town manager to see if there's any status on that piece of land that we may not know about?
It's my understanding that there was some litigation going on around that development.
And the last time you've checked with Tom is when?
That would have been, when we,
A couple weeks ago.
just a couple weeks ago, we went over to
So
talk.
relatively current, okay.
Yeah, within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think the general manager will make sure Half and Associates take that into consideration.
Right.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a second by myself. Any further comments? I'll see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, we have Director Hayes, Director Thomas, myself, and Vice President Wilson. And again, Secretary Treasurer Rose is absent. Okay, we're on item 4, agenda item 4. Consider and take appropriate action to award the bid and approve contract number 2017-110202, water plant and east elevated storage tank, SCADA panel upgrade and replacement as part of fiscal year 2018 capital improvement projects, and authorize the general manager to execute the necessary documents.
This was a budgeted item. I started looking at this last year. I had some pump issues, and I had our SCADA people come out, and they were able to use another slot in the SCADA to keep the pump running. But they actually don't make the SCADA packs that we use now. I mean, they're very old. They're probably around 2003 to 2006-ish now for electronics. So they're getting pretty old. So I budgeted to upgrade these panels.
Anybody have any questions of Mike or Carmen on this? And the prices, these prices that are in the package, the $60,928, $49,535, and $66,871.
Correct.
It's the 49,535, so it's
Correct.
the lowest
Right.
price.
But those are still valid prices? Okay.
I had $50,000 budgeted for the upgrade.
Thankfully, one of them was below that.
The what?
Thankfully, one of them was below that.
Yeah.
So Mike, you're recommending DHS automation?
Correct. They've done a lot of work for us in the past, and they do real good work.
Okay, do we have to mention the who we want to award the contract to? Tony?
Yes, I would recommend that the motion be to approve a contract with DHS Automation in an amount not to exceed $49,535.
I make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Thomas to award the contract to DHS Automation in the amount not to exceed what our attorney just said.
49,535.
Thank you. I'll second that one too. Okay, do we have any comments? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, we have Director Hayes, Director Thomas, myself, and Vice President Wilson, Secretary Treasurer Rose is absent. Okay, 5, executive session. Pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meetings Act, the board may consult with its attorney in executive sessions on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts Open Meeting Act, or to seek advice of counsel on legal matters involving pending or contemplated litigation or settlement offers. SOAH docket number 582-17-5380. TCQ docket number 2017-0567-M as in Mike, W as in Whiskey, D as in Delta. application of Trophy Club Municipal Utility District Number 1 for renewal of waste discharge permit number W as in whiskey, Q as in Quebec, 0011593001. It is 6:56, and we will move into executive session.
Getting paid by the word.
I guess so.
Are we doing it here, or do we need to?
Got the phone in my office.
Oh, we have to call, it's not the story. we put on Facebook.
7:47, and we're back into regular session. And
Kevin, can you announce that no final actions, decisions, or votes were taken in executive session?
no final actions or votes were taken in executive session
Or decisions.
or decisions. Anything else?
No, sir.
Nothing about Jim eating candy or anything?
I'm sorry?
Nothing about Jim eating candy or chocolate or?
Not on the record.
Okay. Okay, number 6, consider and take appropriate action regarding matters deliberated in executive session, including actions relating to potential settlement of disputes arising in connection with district application for renewal of water discharge permit, WQ 0011593001, State Office of Administrative Hearings, docket number 582-17-5380. Do I have any motions?
I would recommend that the board consider a motion to authorize the general manager to negotiate and enter into a settlement agreement on behalf of the district to resolve all matters in dispute relating to the contested case hearing, all in accordance with the direction furnished by the board in executive session.
Okay, we have a suggestion from council. I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a second by Director Hayes. Any discussion? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. I have Director Hayes, Director Thomas, myself, and Vice President Wilson. And again, Director Rose, Secretary Treasurer Rose is absent, so it passes. Okay. Now it is 7:49, and I'll
Make a motion to
make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
And
We have a
third.
second by Director Thomas. All in favor of adjournment, show of hands. Unanimous. 7:48, the
Time is
meeting
going
ends.
back.
That is a new record.
Time is going back. We came in at 7:49, then we adjourned at 7:48.
I think it will be.